From the early days of the 20th century, when the concept of makeup was still something whispered about behind closed doors, to the glittering multi-billion-dollar industry we see today, the story of American cosmetics is as much about ambition, innovation, and cultural change as it is about lipsticks and powders. It begins in a time when beauty products were not mass-marketed, when the average woman might own a tin of cold cream and perhaps a rouge pot hidden in a dresser drawer. The American cosmetics industry would not only normalize beauty products but elevate them into an everyday essential, and in the process, create brands whose names are now woven into the very fabric of American culture. One of the earliest and most transformative forces was Elizabeth Arden. Born Florence Nightingale Graham in Canada, she moved to New York in the early 1900s and rebranded herself as Elizabeth Arden, opening her first salon in 1910 on Fifth Avenue. At a time when cosmetics were considered a little scandalous, she pushed the idea that beauty could be part of a refined woman's daily routine. Arden brought a scientific approach to skincare and makeup, emphasizing quality and presentation. She famously marched with the suffragettes in 1912, handing out red lipstick to symbolize strength and unity. This simple act was revolutionary. Makeup, once taboo, became a symbol of empowerment. Another name to rise in those early decades was Helena Rubinstein, a Polish immigrant who, like Arden, believed in the transformative power of beauty. While Rubinstein had started her empire in Australia and Europe, she expanded into the United States and became Arden's fierce rival. The two women's competition pushed both brands to innovate constantly, introducing new creams, powders, and color palettes. By the 1930s and 1940s, beauty counters in American department stores were becoming glamorous destinations in themselves. As the century moved forward, Revlon entered the scene, founded in 1932 by Charles Revson, his brother Joseph, and chemist Charles Lachman. Their first product, a revolutionary opaque nail enamel, changed the way women wore color. Unlike earlier polishes that were transparent and subtle, Revlon's came in bold, opaque shades that lasted longer. They quickly expanded into lipsticks that matched nail colors, creating the now famous lip and tip fashion. Revlon's marketing was sophisticated and aspirational, and during World War II, they even produced makeup for the military, including the Victory Red lipstick to boost morale. In 1915, even before Revlon's founding, a young entrepreneur named Tom Lyle Williams created Maybelline, inspired by his sister Mabel, who used a mix of Vaseline and coal dust to darken her lashes. He developed a more refined formula and marketed it as Maybelline Cake Mascara, making it one of the first widely available mascaras in America. Over the decades, Maybelline became synonymous with accessible glamour, always promising that beauty could be within reach for the everyday woman. By the time their "Maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline" slogan hit the airwaves in the 1990s, the brand had already been shaping American beauty ideals for generations. In the post-war era, the 1950s and 1960s saw the cosmetics industry thrive alongside Hollywood's golden age. Screen icons like Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, and Elizabeth Taylor set trends that beauty brands quickly translated into products. Estée Lauder, founded in 1946 by Estée and Joseph Lauder, embodied this glamorous yet approachable style. Estée herself was a master marketer, offering free samples long before it became standard practice, and personally demonstrating products at beauty counters. Her brand grew on the belief that every woman could be beautiful, and that skincare was just as important as makeup. Estée Lauder expanded aggressively, acquiring other brands like Clinique, the first dermatologist-developed cosmetics line, in 1968, which revolutionized the industry with its fragrance-free, allergy-tested products. The 1970s brought a shift toward individuality and self-expression, and cosmetics adapted to this changing cultural landscape. MAC Cosmetics would eventually capture this spirit in the 1980s. Founded in Toronto in 1984 by Frank Toscan and Frank Angelo, MAC quickly became an American beauty powerhouse after being embraced by makeup artists, photographers, and celebrities. Known for its bold colors, inclusive shade ranges, and unapologetic creativity, MAC's all ages, all races, all genders campaign broke down barriers and set new standards for diversity in the industry. When Estée Lauder acquired MAC in 1998, it became part of a global empire but retained its edgy identity. The American cosmetics market also evolved through strategic acquisitions and the creation of sub-brands that targeted different audiences. For example, Clinique catered to women looking for a clean, clinical image, while brands like Bobbi Brown, launched in the early 1990s, emphasized natural beauty and wearable colors. Bobbi Brown herself, a makeup artist, built her brand on the idea that makeup should enhance, not mask, natural features, a philosophy that resonated strongly in an era moving away from the heavy makeup of the 1980s. Marketing played a pivotal role in shaping the trajectory of these brands. From Elizabeth Arden's horse-drawn carriage delivering creams to Revlon's full-color magazine spreads, to Maybelline's unforgettable TV jingles, advertising told women not just what to buy, but who they could become. In many ways, American cosmetics advertising mirrored broader social changes, the feminist movements, the rise of consumer culture, and later, the digital revolution. By the 2000s, the Internet began to rewrite the rules. Brands that had been built on department store counters now had to contend with e-commerce and, more disruptively, social media. Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok gave rise to beauty influencers whose recommendations could send a product flying off shelves overnight. Established giants like Estée Lauder, Revlon, and Maybelline adapted by partnering with influencers and investing heavily in digital campaigns, while also launching products designed to go viral online. American cosmetics also became more inclusive. Fenty Beauty, launched by Rihanna in 2017, although newer than the classic icons, shook the industry with its 40-shade foundation range, forcing other brands to expand their offerings to better serve all skin tones. While Fenty is often associated with this inclusivity wave, earlier pioneers like MAC had already paved the way by offering broad shade ranges decades earlier. Still, the cultural conversation about diversity in beauty reached new levels, and American brands positioned themselves as leaders in meeting the demand for representation. Today, the legacy of the great American cosmetic houses remains powerful. Estée Lauder Companies oversees a vast portfolio including MAC, Clinique, Bobbi Brown, and more, maintaining its dominance in both luxury and professional makeup markets. Maybelline continues to thrive under L'Oréal's ownership, blending affordability with trend-driven products. Revlon, despite financial ups and downs, remains a name instantly recognized around the world, with a heritage tied to glamour and innovation. Elizabeth Arden, now part of Revlon, retains its prestige in skincare, still linked to that Fifth Avenue Red Door salon. The history of American cosmetics is, ultimately, a story of adaptation. From a time when makeup was a controversial act to an era where self-expression through cosmetics is celebrated, these brands have not only followed cultural shifts but shaped them. They have transformed lipstick into a symbol of strength, mascara into a ticket to confidence, and skincare into an everyday ritual. They have adapted to new technologies, embraced diversity, and navigated the delicate balance between heritage and reinvention. As the future unfolds, American cosmetics will likely continue this tradition of blending artistry with science, luxury with accessibility, and glamour with authenticity. Whether through innovative formulas, sustainable practices, or groundbreaking campaigns, the industry's biggest names will keep influencing not just how the world looks, but how it feels about beauty itself. The icons born in the salons of the early 1900s and the laboratories of mid-century America have become more than brands. They are cultural institutions, carrying forward over a century of history into an ever-changing world. And while trends will come and go, the allure of American cosmetics, built on visionaries, dreams and consumers' desires, will endure, as timeless and transformative as the beauty it promises.